and try to share my screen. I've never, oh, let's see here. You might have to let me share it, Meg, because it says host disabled. Oh, there it goes. All right, let's see if this will work. Okay, cool. All right, can you all see this? You'll have to say something because I can't see this.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sounds good. And then, like I said, I can't see the chat right now, so I can run through, Meg can run through while we're going along, and if there's any questions and stuff, we can answer at the end. So basically, coming from a challenger perspective, like I said, no Facebook, social media. For me, I have major squirrel brain, so this really helps me just like hop into a separate private app. You're able to track your, water, nutrition, weight measurements, and of course workouts. You're able to like other people's posts and comment, but then you don't fall into the trap of seeing like, an ad for something because, your FBI guy is always watching you. So he always knows what to, perfectly place those ads on the side of the screen. Like just little stuff like that, I feel like is super helpful to just have everyone stay focused on the task at hand. Also with keeping track of your progress, I love this new platform because I want to say in the My Fitness app or whatever it was called before, you weren't able to carry over your progress from group to group. So I love that you can literally start from your day one and your challenger can see, even if you change BOD groups, like their profile carries through with it. So that's super important, especially long-term when they're looking at long-term goals. And they're able to see like, okay, last summer I did 9-week control freak. And this winter, I'm going to do lift 4. Like I had crazy results when I look at my before and after. So I think just having that all in one platform and app is super helpful for challengers. And then again, like I said, everything in one app. So if you haven't checked it out, it's become a lot more user friendly. So like along the bottom tab, you can't really see it in this snippet, but you basically can find nutrition. So you can track 2B mindset, or I think maybe it's still in the nutrition app, Meg, you'll have to clarify on that. But you can pull up like recipes, workouts, and then again, they've added all these features. So my favorite right now is like they've added like fire emojis and things. So I love using those because I feel like when I get a fire emoji, that just makes my heart burst. So I love sharing those with other women as well. So those are just a couple of things. Again, super user friendly for challengers to use. For coaching, I feel like this is where it's even more helpful compared to Facebook groups. So it's really easy. Now they've added where you can basically pull from your coach office because it's all integrated. So you can, when you're adding a BOD group in, so to preface this, anytime you're doing coach things, you're going to have to be on some type of, I think, tablet or laptop or something like that. So you can't do those things from your phone. It's pretty limited to do coaching activity, but from your computer, you can pull up, and like when it says to go invite, you can actually do a drop down. It says from coach office, your customers, your coaches, everything like that. So it's all in one place for you. And also you can send share cards from the BOD group app or BOD group website, which is really nice. See challengers profiles at once. So this was a big thing. I did Facebook for a little bit and I just felt like it was hard for me to like scroll through a bunch of comments and keep track, especially when it's on multiple days over and over. So this way you can just pull up a challenger's profile and it'll show like, for example, a full month, and you can literally see a green dot for every workout they did, every Shakeology they did, their before and after photos, their measurements, if they share those with you. So it's super helpful to just be able to see, like, if you're wanting to work one-on-one with a customer, it's all kind of like in a pretty package like that. And then another thing that I like a lot, especially right now, is if you have multiple groups you're running, you can quickly share your workouts, your Shakeology, whatever it is, with just one button click to multiple groups at a time. So right now, for example, I know Meg's doing the same thing where you're doing an ongoing BOD group for everyone and then a separate VIP test group for a 9-week control freak. So I've loved it so far because my 9-week girls are posting through into my ongoing group, and it just makes me excited because I know those other women who didn't maybe join in this time around for 9 week are seeing like the excitement and the motivation and the, different types of workouts and things like that. So they're kind of getting a taste of it before they hop in. So I feel like it's definitely going to gauge or increase interest for new programs and new launches, even if they're not a part of it. And then the last thing I really like, which you can obviously schedule ahead, Facebook posts, but I like this one too, because you can now add meal plans, PDFs, and different graphics and things like that throughout the week. So if you want to just sit down like an hour or two on a Sunday night and like really focus and bust out a bunch of posts or whatever, you can do that all at once and schedule them for the entire week. Let's see here. So this is an example. I took a screenshot of my previous groups. So there's different ways, and Meg and I have chatted about this a little bit. There's, like I said, this is a trial and error thing. So it works different for everyone, depending especially on like the kinds of girls in your group and what they kind of thrive in. So I've done it a couple different ways. Up until basically this January 1st, I was doing a different group every month. So these are some themes that I had. Going into it, I was like, well, if I was a challenger, I want a fresh start every month and I want to, kickstart, day one and whatever. But actually, like, it's already just a week or two into this ongoing group. And I've seen a lot more people post. Granted, it's January, so everyone's like, on the workout train right now. But I do think there's pros and cons to running groups month to month to month versus just having an ongoing group. So kind of up to you. You can always pull your people, your challengers in your groups now and say like, which one would you rather do? So that's kind of, again, just playing around with that, which works best for your group. And then you can also co-run with other coaches, which is really cool. So you can make other people, especially if you're a newer coach and you're kind of nervous to get the swing of things, or you just don't have the time necessarily to focus all in on one group, you can always link arms with 2 to 3 girls. And you guys can take turns. Like I'll post, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you want to do Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever you guys decide on. So that's really cool too, to have that, co-coach option. And I think I basically just covered all that. And then the last thing I just really wanted to go over real quick before questions, I think I have a couple more slides. So this is if you're trying to think of post ideas. So we've done a couple different ways, again, just trying things out. One example that really, I think, worked for our group a lot was a theme for each day. So we had this picture pinned to the top of one of our months. And so the girls knew, like, if they were posting or sharing a workout on Monday, that they should hashtag never miss a Monday, or whatever it is, like Little Ones Wednesday, they know to share like a little non-scale victory or whatever it is that day. You can do all different things with this. So you can do meal prep on like Mondays, or like Sundays, you can do mindset makeover, whatever you want to do for each week. I do think if you keep it consistent, it can help women know versus like having to remember what to, log and comment for each day. And then I just like to do personal development. So I love Pinterest for this. Like if you literally type in, like if you're wanting to focus on like, body image or body love or whatever it is a big one in my group, then I'll just go to Pinterest and type in like self-love affirmation or something like that, and then pull up and copy over a picture and then just write a little blurb and say like, what's one thing you're going to say in the mirror to yourself today when you wake up, or something little like that. It doesn't always have to be like, how was your workout? How was your nutrition? So kind of just thinking outside the box. And again, this is where personal development really comes into play if you are a coach, to pour into yourself, because that's also where you get ideas on where to kind of share what you learn in your personal development over to your, and carry that over to your groups. That's pretty much that for that. And then my favorite thing to do is recognition and shout outs, which, because I thrive on that. So of course, when I see that, I get so excited when I see Meg's leaderboard, like how she just posted in Spirit and Spunk Tribe, like that just amps me up, seeing like my name, but also like everyone else that's changing lives. So this is kind of the same thing, but on a, lower scale in terms of like, maybe not necessarily changing other people's lives, which they probably are, because they're, I'm sure, impacting others in their life. But those women who are like showing up day in, day out, especially with this one, December, like that was during the holidays. So this was like an example of what I shared in my group for like a month. I think it was one of the months, or sorry, one of the weeks. So the one caveat I say to this, and I told Meg this, and I hope they're working on it, is that you can't organize based on like week to week. So you can't pull up your full group and say like from this Monday to next Monday, and it doesn't pull anything up. So you basically have to just kind of run through your month to date or your accountability group to date. So I'm hoping that they change that, because I'd love to have like those leaderboards week after week to keep people's motivation super high throughout the month. So I think that's really the biggest things I had. Let me try to exit out. Cool. Okay. I know that was probably a lot of information. And if there was anything on my slides too that you want me to send over, or if you have questions, obviously let me know. So anyone have any?
There's a couple questions in the chat. So, do you have them share the topic for the day? So, that little graphic you had with the hashtags and each day in a separate post, or are they commenting on one post?
I usually just have them when they're logging their workout, just so it's one and done kind of thing. Cause I feel like the more you ask of people, like getting their workout in and logging something is like happy in my book. So like if they can just do it all in once and just say like, here's my workout, and then in a little comment, say like, never miss a Monday, or, something like that. I think that's helpful.
I love that. And it's so interesting because I think it really does depend. You kind of have to like gauge your people and where they are, because I post every single day, or I try to. And the only reason I do that is because I haven't, and engagement went way down. Nobody was checking in. And I would ask, my like regulars, and they were like, well, you stopped posting. And I'm like, I'm still posting my workout. I'm still posting my shake. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm still posting. I'm still checking in. But they're like, they just love to hear from me every single day and eat like short and sweet. It doesn't even have to be long or anything like that. They just really enjoyed hearing, like seeing a post pinned from me, something new every day to kind of like get their mindset in the right place, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird how different people are. And I don't know. I think I also have a lot in the teacher community who all want to like follow the rules, and they want something,
Curriculums. Yeah. Yeah.
like they want to have a task and homework and, that type of stuff. So I think you kind of have to gauge where your people are with that.
Well, and I kind of mentioned it too, but you can pull like work smarter, not harder. You can pull posts from the post library. So you can pull like that drop down that showed all my previous groups. Like if I was running out of ideas or anything like that, like I could drop down to 6 months ago and look for a post. So it's not like you have to, like she said, think of brand new, like inspiring content every day, because it is a lot. But I think it's just something simple, like she said, just posting, just checking in more so than anything.
Yeah. And Bree grabbed that too. She said that you can start a new one and pull from the group that you did a while ago. Yeah, I did that because I run nutrition focused groups here and there. And then I just use the exact same content from my past nutrition groups. Okay. Um, Best way to help with engagement when you have a smaller group, say about 8 to 10, when you see mostly 2 people post. Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I would say I haven't done this, but I saw you did this in a group where you have like those accountability buddies. So I think it'd be super helpful, especially if it's only a group of like 10, which is still a lot of women, but I think for them, it's more that tight knit community. So if they have that person that's counting on them within the accountability, it just ups that layer even more. So I think them doing that would be a really good idea, like pairing up and then just like tagging their accountability buddy, so they don't feel like they're leaving someone else hanging. I think that's what comes to mind. I haven't personally tried. Megan, you're doing that right now, so I don't know how that's going.
Yeah, we haven't even started it yet. And I'm getting messages of like, did you do that? I haven't heard yet. And I'm like, I haven't had time to pair you guys up because I want them to be like legit good pairings. Like, I don't want, I have some ladies in their 50s. I don't want her to be partnered up with some of my girls who are literally 19 years old in college. Like, I just don't feel like they would connect that well. And so I'm like, So they want it. Like I feel like our girls want extra accountability. So, if you can add that in there, do it as much as you can. Plus, like don't be afraid to like reestablish expectations. Like they need to know over and over and over again, like I expect you to post. If you don't have a photo, you still need to be checking into the group. You still need to let us know, which I don't, can you, can it show up in the timeline? Am I saying this correctly? Without a photo?
Like a or no, it like they if they logged a workout without like a sweaty selfie. Yeah, no, it still shows. But
Okay.
I will say that's the biggest thing that this time around when I sent like my 9-week control freak, like I sent the little Flow Desk newsletter, and one of them I got it from you is like you like share push those over because I think a lot of people forget or they do it on purpose is they keep everything hidden. And I'm like, that's fine. Like it's not required to share, but that's literally the whole point of this community is to share and help motivate each other. So if everyone's doing it behind closed doors, then why are we even here? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think just reminding them of that. If you have girls, you can see if you go to like your participants. So I'm wondering, I'm not going to share my screen right now, but if you go to participants and then it'll show like if they're logged workouts, because I'll have quite a few girls and I'm like, I haven't heard from them. Let me see if they're doing stuff. And it's like 20 workouts. And I'm like, well, you're not just sharing it to the feed. And so that's when I kind of will reach out and just be like, hey, just wanted to remind you, like if you knew where to share, because it's super easy, but I think they have to allow it. So I think some girls just forget. So
Hmm.
might be a good reminder too, as like a post.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have to like take a step back and remember that they came to you or they said yes, because they want you to be their coach. And so that means that you get to set the expectations. You get to be determine who is allowed in the group and who is not allowed in the group. Like you are the CEO, the business owner. And so you kind of have to put that hat on whenever you are in this space, like outside of your little bod group, you can be, best friend and all of that stuff. But within it, like set those expectations and hold them to those expectations and check in on them when they don't show up and praise them when they do. I think is
Mhm.
far, that's what we're here for.
Well, and I will say too, like I've had a lot of girls, especially recently, because a lot of people are wanting to get back on the workout and feeling good about themselves train. And I've had a lot of girls that kind of ghosted, like they join and then they ghost, and then you keep following up and you're like, I mean, I don't want to annoy you, but you're the one who wanted to sign up. It's just kind of a confusing thing. I feel like every coach goes through that. But I will say, like, even 3 months down the road, like I've had quite a few now that are like, okay, I need to get my shit together. And they're like, thank you for having that tough love. Thank you for always checking in. Thank you for not giving up on me. Like, so just because you don't get responses necessarily, or you don't see interaction with women in the group, like I've just realized recently that like there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes, or they might be going through like something, 2020, who wasn't going through something crazy. So I think just remembering that, like, it's hard for me to do it because I always want validation, and like I look to them for like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough for them? And then if they don't give it to me, I feel like I'm failing as a coach. And I feel like it's easy to be your biggest critic at something you're brand new at. So I think just kind of remembering, like, still stick with them. They're going to, a lot of them are going through things, and then they're going to circle back around and be so grateful that you didn't just kind of drop them when they didn't respond a few times.
Yeah. My favorite thing to ask when I notice someone's kind of MIA or whatever, like I always give them a benefit of the doubt. And so my favorite thing to just say is like, hey, Lisa, haven't seen you. Check in on your workouts. Is everything okay? So I want to assume that there's a reason why they're not checking in, not that they just fell off, but that something is going on in their life. And if something's going on in their life, I want to know about it. So it's like, that is everything okay is such a I care, not a where have you been, like a drill sergeant type thing. So I think that's one way that you can ask it. um
Well, and they're probably more scared of you judging them than anything. That like they were like, "Wow, let's do this," and then like 3 months go by, and then they fall face to the planet. It's like they're not going to come out to you and just say, "Hey, just a heads up, you might not see them doing workouts." Like some girls do that, but most girls are just like, too nervous to even come to you because they feel like a failure and they don't know where to begin. So I love that. That's a good idea.
Okay, I think I got all the questions, unless you guys had any more. I do think since it's a new platform, people have never been in a bod group before, probably before you have to really like treat them like they're kindergartners. It's kind of how I posted today in there, like, how do you sync your workout? I just took a screenshot, literally took a screenshot, threw it in Instagram, circled the little dot, 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 more thing, put an arrow towards, how to sync up their workout. And so like I'm going to spend the first couple of weeks of like one thing about the app of how to use the app appropriately, how to get the most out of it, those types of things. So it's just like kind of almost treat them like you're like teaching them this app, because there's really cool features. And I think a lot of them, especially if you're doing like a program specific bod group, they start thinking like, man, Kelly and Megan and Bree and all of them, all of their check-ins, they say the workout and I have to type mine in. Why is that? So I'm just trying to like think like one step ahead of them, basically. Morgan said, don't let your ongoing groups expire. Trying to get it going again, and it is rough. What do you mean by that,
Do
Morgan?
you have like an end date? This is my first ongoing group, so it's 2 weeks.
I was dumb. I had it going. My group, I started at the beginning of 2020 and I just had it ongoing. And then I had other groups as the year went on, like, specific for MBF. I had a separate group, but I had one for anyone who didn't want to do something different, just had their own lane, didn't try any new programs. And at the end of the year, it expired and I didn't even know, because I've have a Facebook group too. And now I had to read.
Ongoing?
I didn't set it to ongoing originally. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't set it to ongoing, you have to create a new group, and it's fine. But now, like, I'm having to re-invite everyone, and people who are posting every day are not there. And so I'm trying to message them like, hey, it's here. I'm sending multiple resends. So just like make sure it's ongoing, unless you do have like let them know that it ends. Because now I'm trying to get back my consistent people. I don't know. So just beware of that.
Yeah. I love the idea of every single coach, even if you're like, I don't really want to run a group, just having one in there. I have started some conversations. One of my discount coaches literally started with me when bod groups came, because she saw my bod group and she was like, what is this? And she emailed me, like she was a free lead from Beachbody. We had never had any connection at all. And she came to me. She has done every single new program. She does a monthly Shakeology order. Like, we're besties. She teaches in Alabama. Like, like she would not be in my life if it weren't for bod groups, if I didn't have a bod group. And it really is not that hard to like go in and check in. Like, you don't have to do the post. You don't have to do Kelly's cute little graphic. Like, just have it so that people who are on bod, just can see it, and they know that you offer something at least, and then you can start the conversation there. I don't know if it's like once a week, but for sure a couple a month I get requests and I don't know who the people are. So it's just one way to be able to connect with your leads, I think, really well.
Yeah, and kind of going off what Morgan said, I think, because I was debating doing the ongoing, because I was like, well, what if people just join and then don't ever do anything with it? But it's honestly, it's harder to get out of a bod group than get in. And it's hard, or it's easy for people to forget to keep joining every single month after month. And so like once they're in, even if they fall for 3 months and they forget to like log off, like they might be seeing these notifications. They're like, oh, okay, I need to get my butt in gear. So like you just never know when a little alert or pop up could reel them back in. So I like that a lot, because you don't have to force people, because that's what I felt like I was doing a lot of the times, was like every month was a fun new theme, and like, you know, there was a handful of girls that would be super excited and ready to go, and then you'd have a couple fall off because like life got busy and they forgot, and then it's the middle of the month, they're like, well, whatever, I'll start till next month. So like, I do think it is beneficial to do the ongoing, like you said, and then do the specific, like if you're doing, just to increase that FOMO. Like
I had
Allie
some
said.
girls, even if they weren't putting a picture, like they would log their workout. So that was their check-in. It would sync, they would click log. And so I feel so bad that I let it expire because I haven't checked in for a week now. And I'm like, where are you? So that, I think it's really beneficial. And then you can do separate ones that are specific for other programs if you want. But just having something open, like Megan said about leads, I've had that happen to me as well.
Dang, Kelly, I made you host, and now I'm wondering if we have people just hanging out in the waiting room. I keep getting text.
I allowed people in. I saw there's like 4, so I let them in. Whatever it was.
I need to change that to a password. I just took my checked my text. I was like, dang, we got people waiting. But anyways, okay. Any other thoughts? Anything that is, you know, we've got a couple of minutes. Is there anything working for you all with your BOD group that you're like, I really need to share this? I think this would be really valuable for other people to implement or try out.
I was also going to say too, if you guys are newer coaches / if you've never done a BOD group or just want to like link arms and you want to join in mine, like feel free. I mean, or Meg's, I mean, I'm a part of Meg sometimes just to get ideas and things like that. And it's one more post or, you know, one more coach to check in. So it's always fun.
I have a question. I always have questions. So I think Kelly and I started the ongoing BOD group, which I honestly think has been really good. Like I've seen a lot more of my girls at least logging stuff, which I really like. I think the part again, like where I struggle is with setting like expectations for people. Like I almost feel like when I sign people up, I just kind of need to like right off the bat be like, hey, like just so you know, like these are like my expectations. Like you asked for accountability and I want to give that to you, but this is the only way you're gonna get it. So I guess just like, how do you guys approach that? Like, do you think I should utilize the BOD and maybe like when I add them in, just say, hey, like I have a pinned post at the top of the BOD, like please just like go through all of like our expectations or whatever. Like, do you think I should put my expectations in the BOD group? So like at least every time they go into the BOD group, it's always at the top and they're like, oh yeah, I need to log my workout or whatever. I guess I just don't know how to really approach it.
Meg, do you want to answer first?
Yeah, and I think I maybe misspoke. Instead of like, I go through expectations, but mostly what I mean is like always giving them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they just like don't understand how to log. And then just checking in on them, honestly, like it seems silly, but like maybe it's just because I fall in this area, but I will let people slide and kind of forget and be like, oh, dang, they haven't checked in a month. And now it's too late for me to be like, oh, here's your accountability. But just like letting them know they need to check in. And then 2, when they don't, you know, like we started today. So tomorrow, the people who did not log today are going to be getting a message from me. And I'm going to be like, hey, we started yesterday. Do you need help logging your workout? You know, like that is just a really like probably pretty non-confrontational way of saying, hey, you didn't get your workout in yesterday. Or maybe they did and they just don't understand, you know, that they need to do that. So since it is a separate app and since they can do their workout on the TV and not actually go to their phone, that's one thing I hear too. So then I tell them to turn on their push notifications. I always tell them like, at least put on the coach post push notification. So at least you're getting my stuff sent to your phone and that'll be your reminder to log it. So I always kind of assume that they're doing it. They just forget to check in. And if that's the case, I just let them know, like, I need you to check in. Like, I can't do my job if you aren't checking in.
And there's an option too to do notification, like a reminder. So, because I always forget, like, especially in the mornings, if I'm like busy or whatever, I'll forget to post. You can set a reminder, like for them personally to send a reminder to them by like 5 p.m. that day to like check in or whatever it is. So I would really suggest that. But Allie, I've been bad about like what Meg says, like I'll forget and I'll get like excited for them and then like send the expectations and go over it with them. And then they kind of like, as they a lot of times do, unless you're like tough loving through at the beginning, I forget. And it's been a couple weeks. So my thing I'm going to try to do on my like calendar is like when I sign up a girl like that next Monday or the exact week from that, that's when I'll go through and see like if they've logged, if they have any questions, like how are their workouts, and then have that one-on-one follow-up time so that I don't forget.
Yeah. I always just think of them as like my little sixth graders who need to be reminded over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until it's sunk in that, like, here's what we do. Here's what we do. You know, if you don't do it, if you don't turn in your homework, I'm going to be saying, hey, what's going on? Is something going on at home? Is there a reason why, you're not getting this done? It's just always kind of putting that, like, I'm going to assume there's something drastic happening and that's why you're not doing this. And kind of have them force them to come to me. And some of them just say, oh my gosh, I'm doing them, I just keep forgetting to log it. And I say, okay, do you have your push notifications on? So there's always a solution to any kind of little comeback that they have. Or if they say, I don't really want to do the group, I say, okay, cool, let me know when you need my help. Like, that's where I'm going to be. I'm not going to be one-on-one working with you unless that was something we agreed upon before all of this.
I definitely have girls who they'll start and they'll join, they're really excited, and then they don't touch the accountability group. And I check in with them and they're like, oh yeah, I'm loving it, like doing MBF, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, just FY. And like a lot of people are just self-motivated and maybe they just needed you to provide them with, the nutrition and workouts. So you can't really take offense to that. Like, good for you for being self-motivated. Like, I'm not, and most people in our group aren't, but like if they are, they still have you as their coach. You can still check in on them, every month or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Setting a little timer. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of working through with them on how to remember to do those kinds of things. I always think that the best way, and I think she said it on the National Wake Up Call today, that the best way to have really awesome, engaging, exciting groups is to add new blood every month. Like, I think that's why Hitting Success Club is so critical to our business and getting people results, is because we started a new program with new women today, and I am just on fire. I'm like, I can't eat those penguins from Aldi's. I can't. Like, I've got all these new people. Like,
Meg, I ate the penguins from Aldi's.
Okay, I did have some.
I ate enough for the both of us.
Brain. It's so good. But it makes me re-energized and think about, like, I've been doing this for 6 years. Imagine what it does to someone who's brand new, that they get to, get it started. So energy is contagious, and you can't have that new energy without new people. So that's why, at least for me, Hitting Success Club is a non-negotiable, because I love the energy. So I know my girls do too. All right. Any leaving thoughts? We went a little later than I had planned, but all right. Thanks so much, Kelly, for sharing with us, for sticking through BODgroups when it got a little itchy.
Got a little bit more to go, but it's getting there. I'm giving it.
Yeah. Tried live video. I think live video is really fun. I have noticed when I do pop in live at a good time, a lot of people do hop on with me. So that has been, and the push notification of Autumn pushing into the groups and talking about 9-week Control Freak is so freaking cool. I think a lot of my girls, someone referred to, and Autumn in her video said this, and so, and I know it was one of the videos she pushed into the BOD group, and you're not going to get that in Facebook. Autumn doesn't push into our Facebook groups. So, all right. Well, I will talk to you guys later and have a good rest